Alright, what's going on everybody? Norris here, back with another video. Welcome back to my channel. Another one of these elevator music videos. Today we're doing a song review. Actually, this is going to be an album review. So today we're going to do an album review. This one is on the new JPEGMAFIA Danny Brown Scaring the Hoes LP that they recently dropped, maybe like a week ago, something like that, a couple of weeks ago. No, it was about a week ago. So this is an LP, about 15 tracks, I think. JPEGMAFIA, which is a Baltimore-based producer slash rapper that's started to build up a little bit of a buzz now. He makes a lot of experimental style music, a lot of experimental style beats. Recently, he's been killing it recently. He's been out for like a few years now though. Like, I think he started maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, like professionally making music, doing shows and performances. I feel like recently his name has been getting picking up a little bit of buzz, especially with this release of this album with Danny Brown. And everybody should know who Danny Brown is. He's a longtime rapper from Detroit. He could have made my list of 104 greatest rappers of all time, but he's one of those rappers that was just left out. Like, he probably would have been number 105 if anything. If I were to make a list that long, he probably would have been at that spot. That's how good of a rapper I think Danny Brown is. This is a good duo between the two, JPEGMAFIA, Danny Brown, and their recent album, their recent LP, Scaring the Hoes. I just went through the album. I listened to it from top to bottom. I'm gonna give my opinion on how I feel about the album, how I feel about both artists, and like just the change in like hip hop and like the direction it's going. How their style, especially JPEGMAFIA's style, is very experimental, very different. It's almost like he's trying to create a new genre of music, which I find very cool. The album as a whole, it's impressive. I liked it a lot. It's tough to listen to. That's JPEG's style. His music's very tough to listen to. You gotta really have the patience to listen to it. Very experimental, you know what I mean? Explains the name Scaring the Hoes, you get, right? As you understand how you understand what they mean when they name their LP that. Starting with the first song, Lean Beef Patty. The bass is hard, just like how I feel about a lot of the songs throughout the album. Hard bass. I like how I like the direction that JPEG goes with his mixing and his beat making. It's very impressive. And Danny Brown being added to the album, and like, yeah, just having Danny Brown throughout this album with JPEG is just a really good idea, because I feel like JPEG's beats fits what Danny Brown brings to the table. So I thought that was an interesting song. Next, Steppa Pig. Steppa Pig is pretty cool. Has like a rock element, a little more of a rock element. Kind of reminds me of like electronic music from like early 2000s. The way it like starts off and the way he kind of like jumps like kind of like electronic samples in and out throughout like the rock element beat, and then they're rapping over it. So there's a lot going on in a lot of these tracks. Scaring the Hoes, the song itself. So they have a song called Scaring the Hoes, and that's the one that was released. It's basically a rock song. You could almost consider it a rock song. JPEG went off. The drum and the bass is just crazy on it. Yeah, it's just a cool idea, cool title for the album, cool title for the song. Just a cool idea as a whole. Garbage Pail Kids, he kind of has that rock element, but he kind of goes hip hop on it. The way he like raps on it, it's kind of like an old school style way of like rapping. The way Danny Brown and JPEG rap on the beat, they still keep that rock element throughout the beats. The way they like mix their samples, and it's cool. It's cool. I like the bridges. I like the bridge in this song specifically. Very spacey, just like a lot of the songs on the album. But yeah, another cool song. Got Fentanyl Tester. Just a complete experimental like song. Like, it doesn't sound like any of the other songs that he's made on this album, which is pretty cool because every song is almost different from each other. It's a very experimental list of songs. I feel like this song is the most experimental, that's for sure. We got Burfict. Burfict, like the drums go in. Just like I was saying in a lot of the songs in this album, the drums and the bass is what really makes the album like really sound nice in my opinion. You know what I mean? I feel like JPEG did a really good job at like establishing really strong like drums and bass foundation throughout the album to create like such an epic sounded song. And I feel like he did the same thing with like every song on this album. Then there's Shut Your Bitch Ass Up and Muddy Waters, which is a song with two songs in it. So it's like two songs in one, where like Danny Brown has his side and then there's JPEG with his side. So and the beat kind of switches, the style kind of switches, so it makes it kind of cool like that. Orange Juice Jones, it's more of like a sample soul type of smooth vibe beat where JPEG is just kind of like riding the beat. Very hip hop style, very 90s hip hop style type song. Kingdom Hearts Key, another cool song featuring Redveil. Redveil is a pretty sick artist too, the one guy that's featured on it. I think he makes his beats too, but a very impressive feature with Danny Brown and JPEG. Sonically very impressive. I like the spacey instrumentation that goes on throughout it. Sort of reminds me of like Animal Collective, like Death Grips type of feel to it. God Loves You, the next track, very gospel element when it comes to like the mixing and the sampling. They have a lot of gospel elements to it. Very like soulful and like powerful feel. Gives you that warm feel throughout the song, but also experimental at the same time. Run the Jewels, which is like the name that came from the duo Killer Mike and LP. Like that's who I think about when I see Run the Jewels. But it's a very short song, very short. I think it's only like 40 seconds long, so I think it's kind of like a skit song type of thing. The Jack Harlow Combo Meal. The next song, which is like a very hip-hop sounding song, very chill, very jazzy element. I think JPEG is a very good singer. On top of his rapping and his beat making, I think he's a very impressive singer, and he proves that a lot in this song here, and in a lot of the songs throughout the album too. But yeah, I'm very impressed by his singing. Heaven on Earth, which is Hope, basically is a gospel style song. A lot of the songs on this thing is just very experimental, you know what I mean? Like, it makes your brain just jump different spots, different areas. Like, it really takes you on like a crazy roller coaster ride. Very experimental style. And then the last track, Where You Get Your Coke From, which is just the last song on the album, and I feel like it might be Danny Brown's best verse. He kind of like finishes off the track with his like crazy unorthodox style, just kind of like riding off the beat towards the end of the album. And it's kind of funny because he's supposed to be sober and up and going to rehab and all of that, so it's kind of funny that he's talking about this kind of stuff in his music. But I guess it's just referencing. It's just to make the song sound a little bit cooler, right? But overall, man, like I'm pretty impressed with this album. Out of 10, I would probably give it like an 8, maybe like an 8.5 out of 10, just cause like it's impressive. I like the direction that these guys are going with. They're trying to make like sort of a new genre. They're trying to make like a super experimental new genre, a fresh sound that no one's really heard of before, through like their sampling and mixing patterns and just the way they're kind of like going with like their sampling and their sample selection, the kind of songs that they're sampling from. That's basically gonna push them towards mixing the songs the way they mixed it. Very unconventional. It makes sense why they called the album Scaring the Hoes. You know, you get the idea, you get the understanding of why they named the album that. It's not the type of album that you want to play at like parties or anything like that, you know. You don't want to play these songs at the club or anything like that. It's not the kind of stuff that like everyone's just gonna get into, you know what I mean? Like the whole entire room is just gonna automatically get into. You'll really have to sit down and have the patience to kind of like go through track by track and kind of like appreciate what these guys did, more so than to like groove out to like a beat or like vibe out to a beat. Even though there is a bunch of songs and beats on here that make you feel like that, you know what I mean? Make you bob your head and kind of vibe out to. JPEG does have the ability to make beats that way, but because of his experimental style, he tries to be different. Tries to be different all the time, you know what I mean? Sort of the way I make my music, I try to be different too, but like you can really see it through his beats. He tries to separate his sound from everyone else's sound. You can really get the sense of that. It's impressive. It's impressive that he can do that, stay musical at the same time, and make a piece of art the way he made with this project here. So like I said, I probably say 8.5 out of 10, just because it's not the first time I've heard music made this way. That's one thing. So they're not totally making a new genre. This style has been done numerous times from numerous rappers and bands, especially through rock music. You can Animal Collective is a perfect example of that. Death Grips is another good example of that, but still impressive at the same time. He can he's an incredible songwriter, rapper, singer. Even his video making is pretty impressive too. Like I wouldn't be surprised if he is the mastermind behind his music videos. Just a complete artist, and Danny Brown complements his music perfectly. I feel like his crazy, deranged style fits JPEG's beats perfectly, especially in this experimental, weird, odd style that he made his beats with. So yeah, that's it for the video, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate all the likes and the subscriptions. I'm gonna come back with more videos just like this, more reviews, album, song, video reviews, mostly song and album reviews, because I want my channel to be music based. Like I said, thanks again for watching. I got a brand new EP coming this Friday, I think it's Friday, April 8th, so whichever date that is. I gotta look at a calendar, but this week, brand new EP, 4 tracks on all platforms, Spotify, all of that. Once it's out, I'm gonna put the songs on my YouTube page too, so you guys are gonna be able to find out about it no matter what. So subscribe if you have it. Until next video, guys, stay safe, stay cool, and yeah, I'm Norris. I'm out.